I ate it up, super spicy, like, you did that. You did that, babes. Can you guess what it is? Fourth Wing, baby. Yep, I read it, ate it all up. It was emotional, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another book video. More specifically, I'm going to be sharing all the books that I read in July and August. So my July and August reads. I've been reading a lot this summer. My head has been in the books, babes. And yeah, so I'm going to share all the books that I've read in the month of July and August. Can you believe we're September now? Like, that's crazy. Fall is upon us slowly but surely, like crazy. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video because I got a lot of books to share. See me slightly looking on the side. It's because I have all the books that I've read on a Notion. In the month of July, I read 77 books. Like, clearly I have no life. Anyways, the reason being that I've read so many is because I reread a bunch of books that I used to read as a kid. So one of the books that you see on this shelf is graphic novels that I used to read as a kid. So I've been purchasing, thrifting, and buying a bunch of the books that I used to read as a kid, and I've been rereading them. So obviously the graphic novels are super easy reads and super small, and that is one of the reasons why in the month of July I was able to read so many books. I also have just been reading a lot in general, but that is why July was like the highest reading month of the year so far. And then in August, I read 41 books, which is just insane. My total book count of read books so far, now that we're in the month of September, we are at 286 books. My goal is to have 365 books read by the end of the year. So it would count as if like a book a day, you know, because 365 days in a year. So that's the goal. We're almost there. And I think I can achieve it. We shall see. I will keep you updated. But yeah, so in July, I basically wanted to finish buying and collecting all the books that I read as a kid, and then I reread them. So I read the Amulet series, which was so good. And I was like, oh my God, there's a reason why I loved it. Basically, the book is about this girl who inherits a family amulet in the form of a necklace, and it ends up being a very powerful necklace, and she ends up going into another world where she realizes that that world is in danger, and she's one of the only people that can help, especially with this amulet. She has a little brother, and the story just kind of goes along that. Really good. I read it so quickly. This series is 8 books, so I read and finished all 8 books pretty quickly. And yeah, I also read the Bone series, which is a matter of like 12 books. This is also another graphic novel series about these 3 little white figure boys that just go on a big adventure. There's this evil queen, and there's a dragon, and there's a bunch of things. It's a very like fantasy based book series. I loved it when I was a kid, so I reread those, and that's 11 books. So as you can see, like I read like 20 books, but they're small little graphic novel books. I ended up reading Lore Olympus, volume 3 and 4 came out this year. I read those, and the 5th one is coming soon. I read the Aya series, which is a French graphic novel series that I used to read as a kid in the library, and it's called Aya de Yupongo. And it's basically just surrounds her family, her neighborhood, and all the drama that drama filled. And it's in French. If you guys didn't know, I'm trilingual, and the drawings are just so beautiful. It's so funny. And I was able to purchase them on Amazon and the bookstore Renaud Briand, which is a French bookstore. And I was able to read them. And this is a series of 7 books, which I was able to collect, buy, and read. I was also able to read Sarah Scribbles' series. This one is a series of 4 books, and it's just cute little comics. really cute. This one I didn't figure out I didn't read this when I was a kid, but I did find it at the store, so I read these. And that is a 4-book series that I really enjoyed. I started and finished the books that are out. I finished the Letters for Lucardo series. This is an erotic gay romance novel between a scribe and a vampire. This one is an 18+ graphic novel that I really enjoyed, and I cannot wait for the 4th and final book to come out whenever it does. So I read that, I believe, in July. And I think that's all when it comes to graphic novels that I used to read as a kid that I bought, with a mixture of just graphic novels. Another graphic novel that I read, this one I discovered in July or August, and it is The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. It's a cute little gay love story. It meets like Bridgerton / gay vibes. That's what I could give it. Super cute, adorable story. I made my best friend read it, and also the drawings are just gorgeous. So yeah, that's another graphic novel that I ended up reading that I enjoyed a lot. And I feel like that's a mixture. So in July, I read a lot of those graphic novels and read a lot of those books that I used to read as a kid. And I feel like that upped my books for the month for sure. Because that's like a good 30 books that were all like books that I used to read. And they're super small, super quick. And I would finish in like 10, 15 minutes and love it and then read the next one. So I did a lot of that in July. And then now we'll be getting into the more novels, romance novels, fantasy. We dabbled in fantasy in July and August. And I think I did a book video where I dabbled into fantasy as well. Let me know if you guys want to see more book challenges, because I for sure ate that shit up. So yeah, there were a lot of books that I was influenced by TikTok to read. One being Archer's Voice. I heard a lot of people say they cried. It was emotional. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I did not cry. I was sad though. Basically, this book is a small town romance. This girl who wants to escape her life goes to this small town and meets Archer, who does not speak, seems very mysterious, and she ends up falling for him, but also figuring out why he doesn't talk. And it's really heartfelt and really beautiful. So sad, but so good, so well written. So I ended up dabbling in some TikTok books. So I read Archer's Voice, and then I read, the Twisted series. Lord. Is the Twisted series. Oh my God. I'm trying to hold it nicely. So we have Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, Twisted Lies. And then this is another series that I started, which is King of Wrath. And basically it's a bunch of different love stories and different tropes that intertwine, if that makes sense. So there's bodyguard, royal, family, small town, etc. Super good. I ate it up. Super spicy. Like, you did that. You did that, babes. Loved this series. I loved the different tropes. They intertwined so beautifully, and I loved it. So, yeah, we ended up being influenced by TikTok. So that was great. Another author that I ended up diving more into is Tessa Bailey. We love her so much. A series that I read, I believe this was in August actually, so I'm kind of mixing July and August together. But yeah, so I read, this one was for sure in August. I read the A Broke and Beautiful novel series by Tessa Bailey. These books have been out for a really long time, but she came out with new covers with the company Avon. So we have Chase Me, Need Me, and Make Me. This is about 3 girls that actually live together and each of theirs love story. The first one is about an actress and this like businessman. And then another one is about a country girl and a teacher. And then this one is Friends to Lovers, One Works in Construction or something. But yeah, really good. The spice is nice in here. The stories are well done. They're a pretty quick read. Like they're not that big, and I believe they're like almost 300 pages. So these were a quick read. Also super cute covers, loved them. I bought this series in my last vlog, so loved that. Another author that I got into and I ended up reading a majority of the books that I bought from her is Christina Lauren. I read The True Love Experiment. This one is about this filmmaker that ends up having to do a dating show. So he finds Busy, who is, I believe they were like frenemies, and he ends up taking Busy to become like the Bachelorette vibes, but they end up falling for each other. And it's really cute. That's really cute. And then I ended up also reading Love in Other Words, The Unhoneymooners, The Honeymoon Crashers, which was the sequel to that book, which is an audio book original. I ended up reading that. Loved it so much. The Unhoneymooners, I feel like I read that in May or something, but I ended up reading the sequel in August or July. So yeah, so basically I read The True Love Experiment, The Soulmate Equation, which was really cute. And it was basically about this dating app experiment. So this girl wants to find love, so she goes on this dating app, ends up matching with one of her kind of like enemies, and they end up having like a big compatibility match of like 98%. So she tries to see if it'll work, and it's a really cute story. So loved that, and then loved this book as well. So we love Christina Lauren. They're actually a duo, a woman duo. We'd love to see it. And yeah. Another series that I started, I'm still not quite done, is the Bridgerton series. I loved the season. I loved season 1 and 2, and I loved the Queen Charlotte series. So I ended up getting the books, cover, read it, so good, loved the show. It just gave me a little bit more detail and put me back in the world of Bridgerton. Loved it so much, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read this series. So I ended up reading so far, So far, I've read the first one, The Duke and I, which I loved season 1. So I ended up reading the book, and it's just a lot more, it just gives more detail. Also, I saw that there were some plots that were changed or things that changed in the books. So I'm actually happy to read the books and then hopefully see what Shonda Rhimes ends up putting in the show, if that makes sense. So I read The Duke and I in August, and then I read The Viscount Who Loved Me, which I loved this season. And then I decided not to get the third book because I want to wait for Penelope and Colin's season. And hopefully I can get their cover in a book form. So right now I'm not reading the third one to wait for the show. I might end up just caving and reading it. But yeah, so I didn't buy that book yet, and I haven't read that one, but I did read the fourth one, which is Benedict's story. So good and so cute, and I really hope that they get their season, because that is just adorable. I hope each sibling gets their season, because that would just be amazing. The siblings series, like the main Bridgerton story series, is 9 books, and I'm 3 books in, which is great. I don't think I'll be reading the other like prequels and other stories. I think I just want to read the Bridgerton series, if that makes sense. So yeah, loved that. And that was something that I dabbled in August. And then I got into some fantasy. This book has been all over TikTok, and I caved and I bought it. Can you guess what it is? Fourth Wing, baby. Yep, I read it, ate it all up. This is one of the books that I really were on the bigger end. I feel like I usually read books that are like 200, 300 pages. This one is like 500 pages, so it's on the higher end of books. I think the only big books that I've read are fantasy, which the ACOTAR series, which I read in May, I believe. And that was on the higher end of page count. So yeah, this one is basically about a school that has dragons. Honestly, the way I'm not good at describing this book. I'm not good at describing any book, but this basically is, I'm going to give you the vibe more than the explanation of what the book is about. It gives like Harry Potter, but like instead of them having wands, they have dragons that they interconnect. And it's a school that basically raises teens and adults to fight for them in war with dragons. And you end up following the main character who goes to that school. There's a love trope in it. There's a lot of emotions, death. The end got me. I was shook. A tear did. So good. And I cannot wait for the sequel that comes out in November, Iron Flame. Yes. Also, that is just a gorgeous book. Come on. So yeah, I dabbled in that in July and I loved it. And I cannot wait to get back in this world in November for Iron Flame. I ended up reading also a graphic novel called Heartless Prince, which was such a cute little story. I loved that book and I think I gave that book 7 out of 10. I ended up also starting a duology. Basically, I ended up reading The Accidental Pinup in July by Daniel Jackson. The book's right there. And it's about this photographer and her enemy, and they end up having to work together. She ends up having to be in front of the camera instead of behind, and they fall in love, and it's super cute, and I cannot wait to read the sequel. It's not really a sequel, it's just like the second book that she came out with, which is called Accidentally in Love, which I cannot wait. I hope to read it soon because it's like summer vibes and summer is almost over. So I do need to read the sequel of that one. I ended up reading Falling Hard for the Royal Guard, which gives very much Red, White, and Royal Blue in a sense. It gives very much like royal family vibes, royal stuff. I wasn't obsessed with the book, but I still was a nice little read. And I think I talked about that book in another video, so you can always check out my other book videos. I ended up reading Going by Coastal, which has a beautiful cover. Let me show you guys, because it is gorgeous. It's basically about this girl who you end up seeing two tropes that she's in, basically about, oh, I don't think I can take it out. Oh, it's a little too well put. But anyways, I ended up reading By Coastal, which has a beautiful cover. I'll put the picture. Basically, it's about this girl who has two choices to make of where she wants to do her next step and live. And you end up seeing which route she takes. You end up seeing the two different decisions she makes in the different areas, if that makes sense. Going by Coastal, she is bi, and in one trope, she meets a guy, and the other trope, she meets a girl, and it's really cute. At first, it was a little bit confusing because I was like, is this at the same time or two different tropes? But then at one point, I kind of got that it's like the two decisions, what ends up happening if she decides either or. So that one was really cute. I ended up reading the duology. I ended up reading these two books by Alyssa Sussman. So we have Funny You Should Ask and Once More with Feeling. This one I actually physically read. So good. Basically, this book is about a writer and actor and how they do this interview that goes viral. And then 10 years later, they do another interview, and you end up uncovering what happened in the interview, what happened in between and now. So it's kind of like a back and forth trope. Really loved it. Then the sequel is about this singer and this band member and how they kind of had a falling out, and then they have to reconnect again for a Broadway show. And it's also a back and forth trope. I loved Funny You Should Ask more than Once More with a Feeling. I don't know, the back and forth was just really well done in this book, and also the covers are gorgeous. So I ended up giving this one a 9 out of 10, and I believe this one is 7 or 6 out of 10. Still really good book. But I loved the first one more than the second. Then I also ended up reading Boyfriend Material. This one is a duology. I ended up reading Boyfriend Material and Husband Material by Alexis Hall. The first book is a fake dating trope, and then the second book is the couple and their idea on like marriage and like if they want to get married and stuff. So it's Boyfriend Material, Husband Material, and I think they're coming out with a third, which is Father Material. So I really can't wait. Loved these books, and it gives very much red, white, and royal blue, and just in the sense of like them being in England and like English vibes, gay, love it. So yeah, loved it a lot. And I feel like a lot of people were like, if you liked red, white, and royal blue, to check out this duology. So I ended up reading it in the month of July. In July, I also read King of Wrath, which is another series by Anna Huang. Read the first one, super good. This is a forced marriage trope with mafia vibes. Super good, loved it. Spicy. I love Anna Huang, and I think I'm going to be reading all of her books because they're so good. The covers are gorgeous. So yeah, ooh, I really dabbled in the Anna Huang world. Then I read Partners in Crime by Eillish, which has a beautiful cover. So let me find it to show you. This book, so cute, so action-packed. Basically, this is like a second chance romance mixed with kidnapping, drama-filled, Las Vegas vibes. Yeah, so good and so juicy. This one was really good. A lot of things happened. I was like, girl. But I gave it an 8 out of 10. And also look at this cover. Like, that is gorgeous. Look at her dress. So loved this book for sure. And I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10, right? Yeah. I also ended up reading the book, The Roommate Pact, which is so cute. It's a roommates to lovers trope between a nurse and an EMT, I believe. Really cute. I think I saw it on like the book app. Loved it. Read it. Ate it up. I also read Summer Reading, which was a book that I saw on the library app. And basically it's a love story between a reader and a non-reader, which was really cute. It has a really cute cover, so I think I'll show you guys. It's very much summer vibes. This would be a nice little summer read. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Loved this book. It was so cute. And I believe I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was so cute. And I love books, so it turned out pretty cute. And it kind of hooked me in from the beginning. So I read it and ate it up. I also read more Mahari McFarlane books. I loved the book. I forgot the name. I'll put it on the screen. Loved that book. It was so juicy. So I ended up wanting to read more books by her. And I saw some people rave about her other books. So I ended up wanting to read it. So I ended up reading Mad About You. I saw a lot of people talk about this book. A decent amount of people liked it. I was a little bit turned off by this book in the sense of like, I really didn't like the main character's exes. Like, there were exes for a reason, but like, oh, they got so annoying and I really was mad at them. So yeah, it's basically, you follow Harriet and her life, and you learn a lot about her exes. I did not like her exes at all in this book, which kind of made me just a little bit like meh about it. But I still want to read more of her books. So I ended up buying Between Us, which I haven't read yet. I can't wait to read it. And then I also want to read Just Last Night as well. So yeah. So far, I really loved one book, didn't like the other. So yeah, we'll see how I feel about the other ones. Then I read a book called Ride With Me by Lucy Keating. And basically it's a strangers to lovers, like frenemies to lovers in the sense. She ends up having to drive the most popular guy to school almost every day for like a few weeks because they ended up bumping cars and there was a whole spiel. So basically ends up being like enemies, friends to lovers. Super cute. Loved it. Forced proximity as well. Really cute and has a very cute cover. I got the hardcover, which I'll put the picture because it's too well placed in the library that I don't want to take it out. Read that one. I also read a sequel to a book that is also really sad and is all over TikTok. I read the sequel to this series, They Both Die at the End. This one I read months ago, but I ended up reading the sequel, They First Die at the End. Super sad. I cried at this one, and the other one I was also very sad. But I ended up reading the sequel to that book, which I read that in August. Then I read a self-help book called Un-F Your Brain, which just kind of explains how the brain processes things, depression, anxiety, stress, and all that stuff. So that was really interesting to see, and I related in a few areas of that book. So that was very interesting. I also got back into Olivia Dade's books. I loved... which I have them up here. I loved, spoiler alert, All the Feels, and Shipwrecked. They're up here. You don't see it. Let me. So this shelf right here is all of my fave top books. Let me know if you guys want a video like that. But I loved Olivia Dade's books. And then I saw that she had another trilogy. So I ended up reading or starting to read in August. I read the 2 out of 3 books, and basically it's kind of like love stories between teachers. The first one, Teach Me, is about a teacher and a new colleague. The second book is called 40 Love, which is about this teacher who wants to actually become principal. She is in her 40s. She goes on this trip and ends up meeting this younger guy who is 26 and was an ex-tennis player. So this is like an age gap romance, teacher and ex-tennis player trope. Really loved it. Ate that shit up. And now I'm working on the third one, which I forgot the title, but they have really beautiful covers. And Olivia Dade mainly does plus size main characters. So I really love them, eat them up, and chef's kiss. So I'm currently working on the third book in that installment, but I read the first and second in August. Another book that I read that I loved is She Drives Me Crazy. It's a fake lesbian dating trope between a basketball player and a cheerleader. Super cute, ate it all up, loved it so much, gave it 9 out of 10. I also read Picture Perfect by Giovanni Sciarrica. This one is a fake dating trope as well. Super cute. It's between a photographer and this guy who wants to make her ex jealous. So cute. I loved it, ate it up. Such a quick read. Adorable cover, like, loved it, and it's a really cute book. And also it was really cheap on Amazon, so that was really great. And yeah. Oh, also, yeah, the third book that I didn't remember the name, the Olivia Dade book, is Sweetest in Gale, which is actually 3 stories in one. So I'm currently working on that, and I'm also currently working on a Tessa Bailey trilogy. I have them over here. I don't remember what the series is called, but the trilogy is Fix Her Up, Love Her or Lose Her, and Tools of Engagement. I finished reading Fix Her Up. Fix Her Up is a fake dating trope between an ex-baseball player and his best friend's sister. Yeah, super cute, very spicy. Love Tessa Bailey's books. So far, I think I have like a good 20 Tessa Bailey books, and I've read a majority of them. I just recently got the Too Hot to Handle series, which has Too Beautiful to Break, Too Hard to Forget, and a bunch Too Close to Call. I can't wait to read that hopefully next month, or I mean this month because it's September. But yeah, she has like 80 books. Will I be reading all of them? Probably not, but I will be trying to make a dent in the Tessa Bailey book world. But yeah, that's a majority of the books that I read in July and August. I read a bunch of books that I used to read as a kid, and now I feel like I'm done and I'm closing that chapter. Will I still be reading graphic novels? Of course, but I feel like I'm going to lean more towards adult graphic novels, and I still will do like teen graphic novels because they're good too. But yeah, that's what made me read a lot of books in July and August. And then I continue dabbling into romance and fiction. And yeah, that's what made me read a lot of books. Those are all the books that I read in July and August. I will be continuing reading romance, graphic novels, and I still will be dabbling in fantasy. Another fantasy series that I read, I believe in July and August, is the Once Upon a Broken Heart. They're up there. I read Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and the third one is coming in November. A lot of the fantasy books that I think I'm going to continue reading are series that aren't done yet, like Fourth Wing, Once Upon a Broken Heart, and ACOTAR. I think there's more coming out of those, so I will be continuing those series. I did get another fantasy-esque book that I saw at the thrift store, which I kind of want to dabble in this author's books because the cover is really cute. So we have this one, which is called So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens. And this is a gay love fantasy. So I'm excited to jump into that world. So I do have a few fantasy books that I want to dabble into. But I think it's going to be mainly romance with a little bit of fantasy and graphic novels. I think that's kind of my category. But yeah, my two shelves are almost basically full. I've read a majority of them. I think I have about 20 books that I physically have that are on my TBR. And then I have another 20-ish books that I don't physically have that I want to read. So let me know if you guys want more book challenges so I can make a dent in my TBR and get closer to my book goal of 365 books. But yeah, I've been loving reading. Let me know if you guys want more book videos because I feel like it just motivates me to read and keeps me accountable. And it's just fun. And I love this hobby of mine. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this long video of me talking about books, but I love them. And I feel like in July and August, I got a lot of like 9 out of 10 books, which was really amazing. And I feel like I got to heal my inner child these past 2 months reading the books that I used to read as a kid. And I feel like now I'm dabbling into romance and spice and fantasy, and I really did get out of my comfort zone as well when it comes to reading. So loved it. I ate it all and I love books. Yeah. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more book videos. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see, book videos, vlogs. Let a girl know. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in another video.